Who's going to win Mr. Olympia this time? It's going to be 100%.
Flex Lewis here, straight out of the Lair. This week's guest is no stranger to the show, and with one of the most popular podcasts recorded, he is now back to talk about his Mr. Olympia predictions. This is a podcast with Milos, the Mind Sarcev. Milos Sarcev back. Milos,
yeah. This is the first time you said my name correct.
I've said it many times to you.
No, you didn't.
Milos. I say Milos when I'm one-on-one, but I don't call you Milos like some people.
Like I told you, I actually introduced myself like Milos or Milos or, Milos. Yeah. Depends. It's like, these people are not going to know, so I better say the name that they know. Yeah.
But a lot of people call you Mishka.
Not anymore. That was 20 years ago. I'll tell you why. Because nobody could pronounce my name anyway. Yeah. But when I use my nickname, everybody says Mishko, right?
Mishko.
So even the first magazine cover and everything else was Mishko Sarcev.
Yeah. I remember because when I was obviously in the gym.
Not too many people know.
A lot of the old school guys and girls would come in and I would hear all kinds. I was like, how many fucking names does this guy have? So just before going live, you were talking about the UFC. Mm-hmm. You're heading up to Madison Square Garden.
Yes, listen, I'm still not sure because I can't really trust you if you had me on cameras or not, but this I'm going to repeat it. I'm most blessed guy in the history of humankind, right? I'm a training partner with Hunter Campbell, my dear friend that you know very well.
Hunter.
One of the nicest guys on planet Earth. So, even when I met him, I told him, like, listen, I would just want to, see some of the UFC fights. I'm not sure if I said some of. Yeah. So, like everything that is happening here in Las Vegas, of course, I would be invited. But anywhere else in the world, like, I can't ask for that. But Abu Dhabi, Islam Makhachev, Charles Oliveira, I would want to see that so badly. So I flew there to see it. Mm-hmm. Now, 2 days ago, right, I got the email about tickets in New York. And I really had to call him, is this a mistake? Because, no, coach, you're invited to every UFC show anywhere in the world. Listen, I'm looking through the calendar. I'm going to be booking the flights and hotels right away. Yeah. Thank you, Hunter. Thank you. I love you.
Can you remember the days where you'd be hitting me up and go, hey, you at the UFC again?
Yeah, hey, I was jealous.
Yeah, you're not there again. Why no invite? And I'm like, I can't. You know how it goes.
I know exactly.
You know how it goes. I can't invite you. Only give an X amount. And then next thing I see you, well, I know that you guys got connected. Yes. And then I'd see you at one event.
Yes.
And then every other event, and then it became every event. And then I don't think you and I are big UFC fans, right?
Huge. Yeah.
But there's not a fight that's in Las Vegas that you miss right now.
Of course.
You go to Dana White.
Contender series, yes.
You go to the Apex fights.
Yes. By the way, Contender series I didn't supposed to even watch because, like you told me that one time when I said, "Hey, Flex, can you maybe invite me to some of those?" And you said, "Look, you don't want to overstep your boundaries." And I understand.
I'm still the same way.
Yeah, exactly. I understand. So I know that part of people watching, they want to do that, right? That's why Flex and other people would ask me, right? Say, please don't ask me because I already am abusing it. That's how I saw it. So Contender Series, I wasn't going to watch, right? Because, let me be polite. But then I was at UFC going with Hunter, passing by Dana's office, and he came out. So, did you see it? I said, no. I said, of course I would love to see it. You want to see it? You're in it. So thank you, Dana, for that too. Like, oh my God. So I've seen all the Contender Series after the second one.
Yeah.
I never missed the fight. I'm going to confess, only for one early preliminaries, I missed one fight one time. I would never miss the fight. I love it. Yeah. I mean, listen, everybody that made it to the octagon is the next level. This is not, Welsh or Serbian, left corner of the street championship. This is UFC. If you make it there, you're a super high level.
I know. And like you said, you're there from the prelims, which a lot of people who are called casual fans, they kind of don't turn up until, I would say, the last 2, 3.
Yeah.
I've seen them. There's a lot of celebrities don't even hit their seats until the main card in some cases.
Yeah. But you see, if you're a fan of the sport, so let's touch the subject because I do really believe that UFC and mixed martial arts is on the way to become the most popular sport around the world, even though there is a soccer in Europe, Latin America, and all that stuff, right? But when you think about it, in man, what is the true championship in life? Like, we all want to be warriors. We all want to be fighters, right? So sport is like kind of watered down. Okay, I can challenge you in skills for this, for that, right? Mm-hmm. But fighting and warriors is where it's at. So it used to be all the mixed martial arts, judo, karate, jiu-jitsu, stuff like that, right? Boxing, right? So I do remember, and right there is the first UFC over there, right? Yeah. When Horace Gracie beat Ken Shamrock. How did they organize it? Ultimate Fighting Championship. Let's see which mixed martial arts would be dominant, right? This is how it all started.
Numero uno.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at it right now, I mean, all these guys, first, condition, strength, mindset, fighting skills, right? It's all next level. We are bodybuilders, and we got in the sport. Why? Because we both believe that, okay, maybe man should be muscular, right? I said this many times. If you can choose skinny, fat, out of shape, or muscular, everybody's going to choose muscular. There's no question, right? But, I wouldn't want to do this. But I understand that extreme levels that bodybuilders have, not everybody would want it. But you do want to be a muscular, looking, okay? But now you want to be athletic and performing. You want to be, strong and have a great endurance and be able to do all these things. But then if you can fight, and fight at the highest level that you can be UFC champion, all these guys are in it for that. I mean, I met so many. So they're trying to become an ultimate fighter, the best fighter on earth. All due respect to boxing, I know that you love boxing. It's kind of hard for me to watch boxing. Some elite boxing I could, but it's not comparable.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it's this is where it's at. So
well, I grew up in the era of boxing as the main fighting sport, and basically, as the years have gone on, I've noticed. Well, as the years have gone on, UFC and it was Pride.
Pride, yes.
There was many different organizations that came around.
Strikeforce,
etc.
WEC.
And I was like, holy shit, But I never got to see the UFC until I was in college. So I didn't see UFC 1. I had to go back.
I did.
And then it was the same era that later on, I'm saying a couple of years later, there was, oh my gosh, who's going to come to me now? Either way, we spoke about him in one of the old podcasts, the Backstreet Fighter guy.
Kimbo
Slice, thank you.
Yeah.
Kimbo Slice put a lot of emphasis and a lot of attention onto, again, this underground fighting.
Yeah.
So there was kind of like that aura of UFC being, having the loose rules, and then there was Kimbo Slice.
There was no rules basically. There was not. I even remember when. There was pulling the hair, right?
Headbutting.
Yeah, the headbutting. There was
punching in the balls.
There was, exactly. There was many of those in first five. But anyway, so it was not regulated, I understand. So that's kind of not sport. Now this is just violence and being a savage. So how can you bring this into the organized, controlled sport that is approved by commission? I mean, they did a hell of a job.
Hell of a job.
Fertitta Brothers and Dana White, oh my God. And the UFC is on the way to become number one sport. I'm convinced. Play the football game, basketball game, or UFC at the same time on the TV and see who's going to, click on the UFC and just watch what happens in the next few years.
I'm doing a data check right now because I want to make sure I'm right in saying this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so officially... right now, the UFC, and this happened a couple of years ago, just making sure I was right, I've overtaken the NFL on social media. So it just goes to show, in the US, right now, the growth that the UFC has had, and then international growth, and it's tremendous of where the sport has come from, and the evolution of the sport. Especially now that I know these fighters personally from the older era, the Chuck Liddells. You know, I helped Ken Shamrock when I lived in Reno with a diet. Couldn't remember me though. A month later, but it's a number of different people that I've seen pioneer the sport that now I'm friends with, and I mean they were fighting for next to nothing. So a lot of people talking about fight to pay and this and that. It's
but you see, that's another perspective. When I started bodybuilding, I didn't go to bodybuilding to make money.
Yeah,
you know, that's you just want to challenge and you want to be one of the best in the world. There was. That's a bonus plan, you get paid, right?
Yeah.
The same thing for UFC back in the day. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but even Nate Diaz, up until the fight with McGregor, he was making 20 to show, 20 to win, right? Which is not that much money, especially considering your camp and coaches and everything else, right? But they did it for the love of the sport. And now, as people are realizing, this is what ultimately we all want to see. I mean, don't we? I mean, if you and I want to challenge ourselves in whatever, we can go do squats, we can do this, there, throw the basketball, but the real challenge is let's fight.
That's true.
Not by boxing rules, not by these rules,
no,
by UFC rules.
What do you think of?
Are you ready?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's nothing coming
easy work
for all the fans. What do you think of all the YouTubers that are coming out now with, Jake Paul has been. There's Jake and obviously Logan Paul that have been boxing, and I will say Jake is the youngest one, right?
Yeah.
He's done a good job of really separating himself from the pack.
Yes, you see, I have mixed feelings because of course I'm a huge UFC fan, right?
Yeah,
and anything that is against UFC, you have a natural tendency not to like it, right? Yeah. So. I don't like him for that reason.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because, but you have to respect what he has done. I mean, first, he's a great businessman. He created that, aura about him, and now he's going and closing the deals. Okay? I probably can't say this on the camera. How...
say it.
How real this is, I don't know. Because you and I can fight, and I can, fight in my second gear and let you win and still make it look like it's okay, right? So I just can't see that Anderson Silva, being Anderson Silva, doesn't matter if it's 100 years old. He has this in his genes and all that stuff. If he stepped on the gas, I think he would finish him. I think so.
Do you think so? I think there's so much ego with the last three fights, with all Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley, and Anderson Silva. I don't think all three of them would all bow the knee, especially since they've got all the UFC fans behind them, and they're all expected to win for the UFC badge, right?
So,
that's my
listen, and I'm listening to Joe Rogan's opinion, and I value Joe Rogan very much so, and if he says that, he is truly legitimate, and so there it is. Beating Anderson Silva, it's beyond me, right?
Me
so
too.
I guess he probably has some skills that I didn't know about.
Well, certainly since Anderson has been fighting, I think he's done two professional fights and one in convincing fashion in the last.
Anderson,
prior to him fighting Jake, but it's a crazy one. I mean,
so here is a hypothetical question: what would happen if Anderson Silva knocked him out?
I don't think it would.
That's end of the hype.
I think
right?
it would be kind of.
That's end of the business.
They were expecting it, right?
But no, but from a business standpoint, that would be end of the business. Okay, so could that happen? Could Anderson be motivated to fight with the left arm only?
Yeah.
I don't know, but all due respect, listen, I actually when I listened to the interviews, I had the tendency to like Jake Paul, but I don't like how he's communicating with Dana, because of course I respect and love Dana so much.
Same.
So enemy of my friend is my enemy. This is kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, shifting gears away from UFC boxing, now to bodybuilding.
Oh, what's that?
What was the last contest you went to?
I went to Dubai Pro the other day.
So tell me about Dubai.
I thought Dubai? As a what? As a city?
I mean, I've been to Dubai. I thought it was fucking incredible.
Okay, first time I went there was 1996, and there was a completely different picture of Dubai.
I bet it was.
Yeah. So and then I've been probably like minimum 10 times. I did training camps and seminars many times, and I actually stay a couple of weeks at a time. Rented a car so I can go around. You know, I've seen a lot. You know, it's luxury at
craziness,
unbelievable level of all that stuff. So, but I went in July and August, and let me tell you, you cannot appreciate anything in Dubai at that time. No. But I mean,
how hot is it?
I mean, it was 50 Celsius. I don't know in Fahrenheit back in the day.
100 and something.
And I'm still a European, kind.
I would adjust.
Yeah. So, but I love the Dubai by all means. And look, Arab bodybuilders, they're next level. I don't know if you watch it, but back in '96 when I went there, I was very well received. I was guest posing. I was in counter shape, pretty much. I got a huge following from Middle East. Yeah. And when you give genetically gifted people right information and they do it, you see very soon how quickly they expand. Iranians, just next level. Egyptians.
It's like they have fucking different receptors, right?
Different genes, maybe, yeah. It's I have a Iranian guy, Behruz Tabani, doing a Romania show this weekend, and I hope he can win.
Open class?
Yeah, open class. Phenomenal.
This is the guy you sent me.
No, what do you mean send?
Send me some photos of him.
I don't know. I thought I'm sending you pictures of a naked woman, no? No, that's different.
Let me just check. No, but no, I know you've got a great rostrum of athletes, a lot of overseas guys too, right? So
I possibly send you. Yeah, I'm very proud of this guy. Yeah. This guy, there is no bodybuilder alive that would see him and not like his physique. If you go on my Instagram, it's one of the recent posts. Super small waist, frontal biceps. You can just dream of peaking biceps, hanging tricep, V taper. Like, oh my God, super striated glutes, crazy back. That's the guy. Yeah.
It's just a wild guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in condition now. What is it? 6 days out? Yeah.
6 days out.
Fucking peeled. Jesus. Good luck, bro.
He will be next level. Yeah.
But how do you say his name?
Behruz Tabani.
Behruz.
And I said this back even like 2017. I remember when I came back from Europe, I had that interview and I urged IBB to help these Iranian bodybuilders. And I said at the time, Hadi Chupan, because he was one that was known.
Yeah.
Because I just saw him compete in Dubai. He turned pro that day, and next day he competed in Dubai Pro. Placed second to Raleigh Winkler. He should beat him. But those guys, just imagine, they don't have an opportunity to compete. No. So he was qualified for so many Olympiads before, 17 and 18, and he couldn't compete. So just imagine this.
I know.
People here that don't even comprehend that you are next level bodybuilder, you can be top of the Olympia, and you just don't have a right to enter the country.
I sent a letter to help Hadi.
Beautiful.
Try and get his visa. Didn't work. Yeah, a lot of people thought I was, excuse me.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought I was cheering for him not to get his visa. I mean, I think you know how I am as an athlete.
Exactly.
I want to stand against the best. Yeah. And that's the reason why after the Olympia, I went on the road. I went to all the Grand Prix, and I said, okay, if you can't fucking make it here, I'll see you in X country, which I know you done too.
Yeah, but I was not a champ, and you were a champ. And how many Olympia champions did that? Lee Haney did only one show only in Europe. One time after the Olympia, and Dorian did few times, I must say, like Germany, England. But champion doesn't want to give a chance. Oh, I take that back. Phil Heath did in India.
Went to
right?
India.
Yeah.
And then
okay.
and then it was that massive controversy between him and Kai, remember?
Yeah.
They thought people were saying Kai should have beat him and blah, blah, blah. And
Hey, listen. So this is how it is. When guys are next level, super close, and then you go with apples and oranges.
yeah.
If apple is your flavor that day, apple wins, right? It could be. And I'm going to tell you, you don't even know this. I was just on a podcast yesterday with Jose Raymond. We discussed 212 and everything. Mm-hmm. And then we discussed, of course, about you. And then he believes that 1 year he should have beat you. Right? Okay. And I said, okay, by which standards, you beat? Because let's talk about what goes into the... If I say I'm better than you, what? I have better arms, better legs, better symmetry, better... what? Right? So it's very touchy subject. Yeah. He said something, like you slipped. You were not at your usual condition, which actually, every time I see you compete, you were very consistent. You and Neil nailed it pretty much every time. But there are right levels. Then you can see this contest. Like I know, for me, I was better in this show.
I agree.
I was here. So supposedly in Korea that 1 year you were not really at your best.
Oh, that was a rough year.
Yeah.
That was 2017. And because of my commitment to
something,
I committed myself to the show. I didn't want to pull out. That was the year that Dallas passed away. So I done the Olympia, and again, I've told this story many times, but I don't think I've told you in the story in its entirety. So I went to the Olympia. Of course, everybody was mourning there. Everybody was mourning.
I remember watching you on the stage.
Yeah, and it was a sad time for everybody.
Yeah.
And then the week after that, I went to... Well, the next day I was trying to get my weight back down, ready to fly out to Korea. So when I landed in Korea, normally the guy who looks after me wasn't. Mm-hmm. So I asked him, because you got to get rid of all your meals. There was no food there. When the guy picked me up from the minibus, they had this guy... He wasn't in the sport, but through the direction of the promoter, he picked up food for me, which was canned meat. Canned fucking meat. What the fuck am I going to do with this?
I said, this meat?
I was like, yeah. He was like, it's meat.
Complaining.
But I looked at his thing. He was like, in gelatine, and he was like, it is in Korean. I was like, what is this? So I ended up, that wasn't any benefactor or anything to my placing, but I ended up obviously not eating it. Yeah. I said, take me, if you can, straight to the restaurant. Yeah. I mean, to the supermarket. Yeah. And I cooked all my stuff ready. But that year, Neil decided to go with William Bonac to another show. It was on the same time. So I went to Korea, and I landed, and I weighed myself. I was 209, which is not the weight I want to be. I always want to be about 215, and I drop in right at the last minute. Yeah. And I never missed a weight class. I never missed a weigh-in. So my official weigh-ins, I think I weighed in after cabbing up around about 209, 210, maybe. So mentally I wasn't there. Physically I certainly wasn't there.
I mean, we never discussed this. I'm sure it's a touchy subject because I'm sure that many people, mentioned that maybe Hadi could have beat you there and all this stuff. But anybody can beat anybody on any given day if somebody doesn't show up 100%. And, it could happen, and as you've seen, Hadi is such a high-level bodybuilder that went straight into the top 3. So, which probably is going to bring us to the next subject of how do we look at the Olympia and going to this show, right? Mm-hmm. I just made a video the other day that I've seen 9 guys, and actually I forgot one, so I'm going to say 10 guys if the star alignment is just perfect for them, they can win. Mm-hmm. Going to the show, right? We all believe that Rami is the biggest favorite. That's probably, if he's at his all-time best, which it looks like he is bigger, harder, leaner at this point than normally. Yeah. So it would be super hard to ignore that, right? And then top, I don't know if you want to touch the subject one guy by one, but I have a...
Name that 10 that you were just talking about. I guess that's your top 10, I guess?
Yeah, the top 10 for sure. And Rami, obviously, top 3 from last year. Top 5 from last year. Rami, Brandon, Hadi, Hunter and Nick for sure going to be there. William Boniak for sure is going to be there.
That guy looks stupid right now, by the way.
Samson for sure is going to be there. Then there is Andrew Jack that I believe is going to be there. Yeah. Derek Lansford is going to be there, right? So these, and look, everybody else still have a chance, which I hate when people just think, oh, this guy was a 10th or whatever. He didn't even make it last year. Ronnie Coleman was 9th. Right, in 1997.
Last at one point in time, right?
Huh?
Wasn't he last place in one Olympia?
Oh, yeah, there was many times. Many times that Ronnie didn't make impact. Yesterday, even I mentioned in front of Dennis and Chris, in sense of exactly this. Chris was placing 6, 7, 8, 9th, and then he took it against me like, oh, what are you talking about? What was the first Olympia? He placed 6th, and then he placed like 8 in 97 Olympia, right? So he was one of the guys, potential, everything is there, like Ronnie was many years. Yeah, great muscularity, great body parts and all that stuff. So much mass, good condition there, but he didn't become top tier until then, right? Yeah. And then when they realized, hold on a second. So this is what can happen this year. Can Brandon Curry win again? Hell yes. He won before. He is runner-up twice. Yeah. Considered one of the most aesthetic bodybuilders in history, right? And probably in this era right now. I was surprised how big and full actually he looked at the last year's Olympia. Even side chest, side tricep poses and side relax. He was matching Big Ramy, which was shocking for me. I didn't expect it. His legs from the front view and from the back view also are still weakness. And I think that Brandon never really brought here conditioning. Never brought that Olympia winning conditioning that if he's in that kind of condition, striated, dry, super lean, he could be, super hard to beat.
So let me ask you this question. If you were Brandon's coach, would you push him to be big and full because he's standing next to Ramy, or would you just bring him in
sliced and diced?
Sliced and diced.
Yes, because you're not gonna beat Ramy in size. You don't play their games. You always play your games, your strengths. Yeah, I mean, come on, it's ridiculous. Well, I'm gonna outmuscle Ramy. Good luck. yeah, it's like plankton in SpongeBob. I'm gonna rule the world. Good luck with that. Yeah.
So who is plankton?
I mean, you just good luck with anybody that has this vision. Now, on the other hand, William Boniak, right, that you just mentioned, bigger William Boniak is never going to be as wide as anybody else. Not Ramy, it's twice his width. Not Brandon, but that dense, packed, thick muscularity that he has, and adding to it. Dennis James yesterday said that he's like a Phil Heath, like a little bit narrow clavicles, but then building these delts widens him to the point that, he's looking quite wide. I still think that William is going to lose in front relax, front lat spread, and back lat spread, all the width poses. But density, conditioning, and just overall muscle mass. His legs were down before, and now his legs are back. Everything else is bigger. I always said that backstage at the Boston, I was with Regan, and Regan had to come to William and really touch shoulders and tie in between shoulders and biceps, because there's fiber upon fiber going like, Jesus Christ.
Crazy.
It's so impressive. So
I competed against him.
Yeah,
I competed against William when he was a 212.
I competed against Ronnie when he was natural, and I beat him.
This is your fucking game. I'm just saying. That's all.
Yeah. Sure,
not because I beat him. I'm just saying. I remember William struggling to make 212. I know.
That was the point you made. Yeah,
that's what I was trying to get. Not because I beat William. Not fucking.
I mean,
I'm sure that's how it could look too. But
every time I go in front of a camera and Jay's watching, I have to say that I beat Jay 3 out of 4 times.
Anyway, we'll give you that clip.
Yeah,
too. We'll give you that clip to post.
But William is definitely a contender.
Yes.
Hadi Chupan. For me, 2019, if they knew then what they know now, they would have given it to him. 2019, it was just incomprehensible that here is 212 guy debating he's going to go 212 or open, enters the open, and then he's top 3, but should we give him over these two guys, seasoned veterans? For me, I did actually, it's also on my Instagram in the highlights. Back then, 2019, I did analysis pose by pose and why I saw Hadi winning that year. I mean, Hadi is that good.
Yeah.
His conditioning is next level, right? And there was a couple of prejudgings before, like that he was not 100% on. He was not 100% on, and he was still, if you really analyze, better condition than anybody else, but it's not Hadi Chupan conditioning, so they kind of penalize him. Also, he's one of the rare people that can do the front lat spread and not be overwhelmed by Big Ramy. And I tell you, watch it, because Ramy is so much wider, so you would expect he's just going to trash everybody, but he gives him a run for money. And these chest striations, intercostal serratus, that crazy deep abs, right, very good legs. I think the Hadi's, right leg was smaller. I don't know if he's a master of illusion, so, you can't really tell. And it looks like he improved that. Yeah, I watched the last couple of years, you'll notice. For me, Hadi just probably needs to get a little bit tighter from the back. Like back, lat spread, back double biceps. This is apparent even in Korea. You were beating him there, instantly, because you have that kind of conditioning. A lot of people don't have the same condition from the front and back, right? I was a different person from the front and back. It was like, oh, Jesus, who is this fatso? But, for him, he needs to get tighter. Yeah. He's going to still be a contender. I see him that top 3. Brandon, right? Brandon, Hadi, and William can be all, battling there with Ramy and be second, third, fourth. And I want to bring in here Samson. It's very hard to talk about your guy and then not be biased, right? Yeah. But I'm really not.
You're good at that, though. Separating yourself from.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I honestly do. Yeah. But then I wonder, is this maybe part of me that is still a little bit biased? So maybe I want to see what I want to see. But let's face it, he has that combination of size and aesthetics and round muscle belly, superhero look, crazy body parts, legs are off the chart.
Knows how to pose.
Yeah, knows how to pose. Chest, I mean, try to deplete Samson. Good luck with that. I mean, his chest is still going to look like, oh, did they just give you 1,000 carbs? I mean, and he has that look that he can stand next to Brandon. And you see, that's what I'm hoping for, that because he has much better legs than Brandon, it's going to be a run for the money for Brandon, here. Maybe Brandon has some poses that can beat him, obviously. But listen, we are going all out. I really hope for a first call out, to make a top 6 at the first Olympia would be wonderful. But first and second and third is also top 6, right? In whichever order. So ideally, I mean, I had that scenario back in the day, 2004 with Gustavo Badel. He was not top 10 contender. Who was actually 13th guy called out. There was 12 guys before him, right? So he was not even considered. Yeah. And then moved to top 10, to top 8, to top 6, and finished third. Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah, and 2 years in a row. So I've seen it. And no matter what anybody says, people are going to say, oh, it's political judging. They have their favors. Bullshit. They are as straight as they come. They judge what they see. And if Iranian guy shows up and deserves to win, or Egyptian guy, or Nigerian nightmare is going to be coming, they're going to judge the physique, not the name, not the passport, not nothing. I don't say this to kiss ass. Yeah. I say this because I've witnessed it for like gazillion years. But it's always going to be losers are going to, politically, that's why he won.
Well, they were saying it when Brandon was, that it was a close battle between Brandon and Rami, right?
Yeah.
They were like, Rami's never going to get it because he's Middle Eastern, right? And when he got it, everyone was fucking shocked and happy.
Oh, he doesn't speak English or something.
Yeah.
What speaking English has to do with the best physique on earth? You know?
Well, even though that was a weakness to Rami, since you mentioned it,
Yeah.
I will say that guy has put the work in to make sure that weakness, i.e. speaking English, is now a strength, because he's a very lovable guy, right?
It's like you don't have to even listen him talk. You just look at his eyes, and you're gonna just see the depth that you can fall into the ocean, right?
Yeah, he's a good
It's such a good guy. There's nobody that doesn't love Rami.
Yeah.
And then you see, I'm aesthetic guy, so you would want to think that, okay, I said this. Frank Zane won 3 times, okay, 185 pounds or what was it? So how can
if that?
100? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but whatever, be the best body in the world, because back in the day, that's what they say, the best physique, best aesthetics, Now, if you put him next to Rami again, and I'm aesthetic guy, but I would have a hard time justifying giving Frank over Rami. So then I realized, it's still bodybuilding, and you still have to go with this size. Now when you expand your natural frame and genetics to the maximum of your capacity, okay? Like Danny Padilla was, Muhammad Maccabi was, and stuff like that. Muhammad beat Lee Haney at Olympia, right? Yeah. It was possible still. But I see how the judges would favor Rami, because he's just too overwhelming.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Okay, yeah. So I still think that Rami is his show to lose, but I don't think that's going to happen. Now, going to Nick Walker, right? You see him here, right?
Yeah.
And when I said that, and people criticize me like I'm speaking negatively, hell no. I have utmost respect for him. Oh, my God. Even when I was saying before Arnold Classic, like, he has no aesthetics, and I don't want this to be a poster child for the IBB, because I like more this and that. When he showed up at the Arnold Classic, I said that in 13 seconds he won the show.
Yeah.
Just standing there, it was like, oh my God. So much mass, so much muscle control, abs deep, you can stick the finger in, right? Even though the waist was not the smallest one.
Where are you sticking that finger?
So to speak. You've seen the Paulo Costa's back and forth. Anyway, Nick Walker, and listen, I didn't watch the video, but I've seen the what do you call it, thumbnail.
Yeah.
He quit if he doesn't win. And I love that winner's mentality, and you've been there. I've never been there, so I cannot associate with that. Like, okay, Sean Ray said, second place is first loser, winner's mentality. So he is zeroing on just winning and nothing else.
He truly believes he can win.
Yeah, and it's a huge part. It's huge.
You've got to, though.
Yeah, so I got to give it to him.
Yeah.
And he's one of the guys that I honestly say he can win the show. It's not like impossible. Yeah. Would I like that to happen? No. In sense of, I would still want mainstream, even though we have classic physique for classic look, I still want bodybuilding to be measured by aesthetics first. Increase muscle mass, balance, conditioning, everything, but aesthetics should be, if I have to go in this direction, that direction, all the things being equal, he is bigger, he's more aesthetic, go to aesthetic. But yeah, he was overwhelming. That frontal biceps, I mean, Jesus Christ, the arms are like, phenomenal. And then, okay, here is a little advice and maybe criticism, because I'm watching this constantly. It's not just hitting the pose, it's in between poses. It's walking on the stage. He would be known to drop the shoulders, not to have abs tight, walking on the stage, this and that, right? Pumping up. And that's the moment when judges can see you with the bloated stomach, bigger waist, drop shoulders and stuff like that.
That's when I look for shit too, to be truthfully honest.
Yeah.
In transitions.
Phil Heath lost to Sean Roden, not on mandatory poses. count pose by pose, he beat him in majority, and I agree with him.
Yeah.
He lost in between, losing it in a lineup and stomach being out of control and all that stuff. Yeah. So this is kind of things.
Yeah.
So Nick mastered. I was very impressed with presentation, keeping the abs tight, but he lost a few times. So if he doesn't lose any time, and he's a little bit bigger, and I know that conditioning is going to be off the chart, how can you not compare them? The world wants to see him next to Big Ramy, right?
Yeah.
And they're gonna compare them, and then we'll see which direction is gonna go. So he's a major factor. Hunter Labrada. I love Hunter's physique. I love Lee Labrada's physique.
And pool.
Yeah, and I said this to the Chris and Dennis. Oh, Lee or Hunter, who wins? So of course I would give it to Lee anytime, right? Because
you would go
first of all, Lee was always ultra conditioned, like not good, not great, but ultra conditioned. And I was kind of like, ooh, why don't you, coach your son? But he doesn't want it. I don't know why. I still don't understand why. Yeah. I mean, I would coach my daughter.
I've got my own, but you carry on. I'll tell you my theory.
Again, he staying out of it, no problem. So Hunter, I think he won every show he ever competed except Olympia, right?
I'm not too sure. That's a good fact.
Pretty much. I think that's the fact. Yeah, and but let's put it this way. Politely saying, was he in shape last Olympia? He was out of shape condition-wise, right? He was not Olympia top 5 condition, but he was Olympia top 3 physique.
Yeah.
Aesthetics, completeness, balance, wow factor, presentation. I mean, he was watery.
Well, he was sweating. He's sweating like mad when he up on stage. You know, really, to expel that much water when you're supposed to be dry as a bone. Like, I can't even make myself sweat when I'm dry, when I'm posing up there.
So, if he delivers instantly.
Incredible.
Instantly now, okay, now we see you. And the judges obviously see him being fourth, out of shape, out of condition, right? So that gives you perspective how far he can go. Yeah. And I love Hunter, and I would love to see him, getting there. So
I'm hoping to get him here before the Olympia, but
he probably will.
Last we spoke, he was traveling, and I think he wanted to shut it down. He wanted to come, but which camera is my camera? This camera? There's my camera.
Which one? Oh, this is my camera, right?
His team, whoever you are, Hunter Labrada's team said he can't come to the Dragon's Lair.
Oh, he was last time I see him. He was here.
Yeah, Hunter said I want to come, but my team won't allow me.
Whatever that means.
I don't fucking know.
I stay out of it. I
don't know who that is.
Stay out the Lair. Straight out of the Lair. Right?
No, but I to go back to what you're saying, I think in the relationship that Hunter and Lee have, I think that as he's grown up being the son of Lee, that's a very difficult. Trying to be a bodybuilder underneath somebody that's iconic,
like Sergio Oliva.
Sport, in any sport, that's a very difficult set of shoes to fulfill, right? In any sport. Yeah. So now having Lee has arguably one of the, in my eyes, one of the best ever to do it. Incredible, one of the best ever posers. And then have a son that wants to jump into that same sport. You're always going to be compared against your dad, your mum, whatever it is, grandfather, whatever.
It's okay.
And as his dad, but again, I think with Hunter, I feel like he had that additional pressure already, as well as now being compared against everybody else, and he wanted to do it his way. You know, again, I think that I don't know. I just feel like him and his dad's relationship to stay and remain what it is. Lee comes in and helps him periodically with posing and stuff, but I don't think. I think he's working with. I'm say Ben Chow, right? Ben Chow
I
is
think
helping him out.
Yeah, I think so.
Or
too.
he's advising him in some way or other. But for the most part,
Hold on a second. What is this YouTube? Did you get the YouTube fucking thing?
Jesus Christ, you got worse ADHD than me. I'm gonna fucking talk about Hunter Labrada.
I just noticed. What is this? Is this addressed to me?
No,
is this my thing?
No, I do have letters for you.
Yeah, you
though,
do. You
by the
gave
way.
it to me.
There's no fucking checks ever in them. I open them up and then I use the kettle.
I got the whiskey here too. You didn't know.
But yeah, going back to Hunter, and then I'll talk about this YouTube thing. I'm very excited. My brother and my sister-in-law train at the Labrada gym.
Yeah.
I think that's a closed gym, so they've developed a very good relationship, and of course I get to hear how things are going training wise and stuff. And Hunter has got a very unique training style. He only does X amount of sets.
Yeah.
Kind of like Dorian in a sense, and I know
same exercises, same.
Yes.
Listen, one of the best physiques on earth, so obviously it works, right?
Yeah.
Whatever we want to agree, disagree, doesn't matter, you know.
But he lives on shakes.
Yeah, he lives on shakes too, and
It's crazy.
And some people say that's wrong, and I mentioned this again. What do you think? What do we eat? Chicken, turkey, beef, fish. Why do we eat? What's the purpose of? Oh, for protein content. No, for amino acid content, because that protein has to be digested. Well, once it's digested to methionine, lysine, arginine, ornithine, blah, 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 and it's in the bloodstream, do you think your body determined, oh, this is from a shake, I don't want to take it. This is from chicken, oh, let me take this methionine. Bullshit. If it's in the bloodstream, it's going to be used. And I've seen back in the day, I had guys, 8 meals a day, 7 shakes, 1 solid food. Like,
You fucking serious?
I'm serious.
7 shakes,
7
one
shakes.
solid meal.
Eddie Moisen was back in
And
the
that
day.
guy's a monster.
It's a monster. Yeah.
Why don't I fucking know about this?
You should eat your chicken. Suffer.
That's what I was saying. Shut the
Suffer.
fuck up and eat.
Suffer, man.
Yeah, you fucking. But yeah, he's a big shake believer, and obviously he blends a lot of stuff. So him and I know, both have stomach issues as well as appetite issues.
Yeah.
So he's been blending chicken breasts and rice and blending his shakes and stuff. And
I don't have a double blind university studies to show you the results.
Yeah.
But I said that logic is logic.
But you've prepped fucking thousands of athletes.
So I said that I increased like protein intake, like for Max Charles before, like for Samson. You can eat it. Add a scoop of shake, with each meal. Add the amount, and we did it.
I remember talking to Samson, and he said that he was having his conventional meals, and in between he was having a shake.
Shakes, add it. That shake is going to be digested, the amino acid is going to be released, and you're going to have it. But I never talk about this for Lee and Hunter, and first time I see your perspective, and you say it's hard to fill the shoes that your father was, wearing. For me, that would be the greatest honor on earth to follow the step of my father, and I would always give him priority, and he is the one. I wouldn't try to beat him. I would just try to, continue his legacy, and I just see it's so exciting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see it as a competition or like Sergio Oliva Jr. with it's not. Why is it not good? You already. That's a blessing. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Well, some people, we're not in their shoes, right? So we don't know how them has lived. From our perspective, we're looking at it like, wow, your name is royalty in bodybuilding, right? Where, what I will say about Hunter, he has far surpassed every critic's opinion of him. Because from the early stages, I seen Hunter turn pro at the Nationals. I was like, this guy's going to do very well. And I was there. He wasn't in crazy conditioning, but you could see the muscle formation.
He was never in crazy condition.
But he has.
Sorry,
I have to be politically correct. So you look at his dad and you look at his mum. He's got the best of both genetics. He has the size of his mum and the genetics of his
You
dad.
mean the height?
Right? The height. I'm sorry. Yeah, fucking hell,
Robin, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Robin. Yes.
But for everybody who doesn't know, Lee's wife is a little bit taller than himself, but a little bit, significantly. But he definitely has the genetics up from both, and I feel like he is the best height for bodybuilding? What is he, 5'10", 5'9", Hunter?
Probably 5'9". I have no idea, but listen, he is combination of everything.
Yeah.
You know, he is combination of everything, and if he brings it, and God, I really just hope, I mentioned this also, I don't know which show, even Olympia, I think, or Chicago show that he won.
Yeah.
Going into the show, like week out and stuff like that, there was some Instagram photos under the perfect light, but you could see the condition, you can see actually the dryness. It's right there. And I'm a coach, I've been there many times. I screwed up the condition of some of my competitors a few times by wanting a little bit more here, a little bit.
It's the mentality
yeah,
of
I mean,
right?
You
That
know,
1%
it's always,
sets you
can I
back.
just another step, and that was a step too far,
Yeah.
But for him, he has all the size. I think he's bigger than ever right now.
Yeah.
He should just go for this, I would do, if I'm Ben, 3 weeks out, do something on Saturday, 12 noon, or whatever, prejudging is Friday, whatever Friday, 6 p.m. that's going to be. Try to time it, whatever you're going to do, because you should already be lean. You should already finish the job as far as fat burning.
Yeah.
And now it's just, okay, let's time it.
We've done it too.
Yeah.
Me and Neil.
Time it, perfect, good. Oh, you're a little bit flatter, maybe next time we can bump up the carbs. You're a little bit watery, we can drop the water, stuff like that. But don't guess.
Yeah.
Don't...
Too much of a fucking big.
It's
not like a small show, right? This is the fucking Super Bowl. We want
Super Bowl, and you've been there because you won Olympia 7 times, and I can only imagine what it first to win, and then you said that to repeat. That was like the biggest challenge, and then you 7-peat, and you probably could have 10 times if you wanted it. But
you just warned me. She didn't want me to beat the fucking 10.
The thing is,
can I tell you that's going to put you on the spot?
Yeah, for a hunter, if he wins the Olympia, that's completely different ball game. Now you're saying the Lee Labrada's legacy that never won. He was second a couple of times, right?
Yeah.
Now his son achieved it, so it's a huge thing. Okay, let's.
Well, can I add to this? Just because we're talking about young, up and coming freaks, 2 names that I have great relationships with. Stood on stage with one. The other is like a little brother to me. Derek Lunsford.
I stood on stage.
And Rafael Brando. 2 incredibly generic specimens, proportions, flow. What's your thoughts on
first word?
This talk.
Yeah, about these 2 guys. Yeah, first aesthetics.
Incredible.
That's the bodybuilding. For me, these guys are bodybuilding as perfect as they come. Okay? Everything you want to see in the bodybuilder is there. Okay, I might get myself in trouble. I always do, for Jim Mannion, right? We were at the California show, and I was with Jim, and Rafael Brandao was competing, and Jim says, if I want to have a physique like anybody, I would want to have his physique. Okay? And that's coming from the boss.
Yeah.
For somebody that live, breathe, and eat bodybuilding all these years, and he had his approval. He just needed more size for this level.
More back.
At that time. So now we saw recent pictures of Rafael. It's phenomenal, and he's not in conversation to win yet, but he rightfully should be. I mean, again, they're overlooking him.
Nobody's talking about him too.
Yeah, nobody's talking about him. Yeah, what does he need to improve? He has everything. I mean, round muscle bellies, right? Full chest, shoulders, arms. Great leg separation.
Good looking kid too. Asshole.
He won last 2 shows that he competed, right? And yes,
the last Brazil show
in Romania. He beat Samson.
Was a fight. He was him and it was 2 Brazilians that were going.
He won the show.
But he won the show. You're right. Listen, he's my little brother, so I have to be harsh as much as I praise.
Make a point. He won the 2 shows.
Sorry. You made Brazil.
Maybe he shouldn't have won.
I didn't say that. I said he was okay. Brazil.
Yeah. Okay. Make a point.
It's a fucking podcast.
Make a point. It would be much better for the listeners. Yeah. So my point was, he won 2 shows.
Yes.
Okay, so he is in a winner cycle. He's going to Olympia, but nobody is seeing him.
No.
But I'm telling you already, because I know also that Tyler has to love his physique. I didn't talk to Tyler, but he has to. Steve Weinberger, the best judge in the history of sport, they can open eyes, close eyes, and give you the top 10 in a microsecond. Seriously, that's amazing. And we saw him here.
Yes.
You know, we're going to talk about that too. I mean, what kind of eye he really has. But I think Rafael is also the future. That's a guy. That's a guy that should be there, constantly exposed.
Yeah.
We want audience and people and a world to see bodybuilders like that. Okay, so he's there, very comparable with Samson, and that's also what I'm thinking. It could go either way. Samson beat him in Prague, and he beat him in Romania, right?
Good battle too.
And they're both improved. I think Samson's a little bit more improved, so you know, I'm giving the edge. But Rafael, you're representing Brazil, and you know what that means. You know, Brazil fans are like off the chart. You have to bring it, and I know that he's bringing. He's going to be here.
Well, he was supposed to have already been here already, but I believe his training camp right now is clicking so hard. I even told him if it's clicking and you're happy, stay there. He wants to come out here. He wants to hang out. He wants to train with me and everything else. But I'm like, listen, bro, it's
the best.
There's a lot of things that are going on right here for me right now. I said, if you came out, I can still train you. I can train you, but he wants to train with me. That's the thing. I'm fucking old now, you know.
I know exactly what you mean by that. I trained with Hunter Campbell, right? He's supposed to be a skinny executive guy that has no strength.
That's a fake illusion. Let me tell you something.
Jesus Christ. He's outlifting me. More weight, more reps, more. I mean, my giant sets are nothing.
Yeah.
You know, that's all Hunter said. I mean, Jesus Christ. So I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Too old. But I heard you're going to train with Andrew Jack.
Who said that?
No?
The rumor is?
Yeah, rumor is that, I've seen it on the internet, man.
Fuck the internet.
I have to find. You don't know?
Well, apparently I'm training with. There's a lot of athletes coming into, and you know me. I'll jump in and love training, you know.
Yeah.
But in terms of consistent, I mean, fucking on anything.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to be on my fucking
What do you mean,
TRT. I'm not even or being taken that. You know, so when I come in here and all these guys are 6 weeks out, 5 weeks out, monks.
Yeah.
Like you and I used to live.
Yeah. I'm 5 weeks out of Buddha bar presentation.
Man, I've seen you. Fucking this guy. But
So it's
going
not
back to Brando, right?
Brandon.
Not
Brandon, Rafael.
Rafael Brando. So
Brando, that's
so
right.
he right now is probably the last photos that he posted the best I've seen. When I had him training with me in Boca Raton and the gym was closed, we trained all the way through COVID, 0 distractions. He lived like a monk. He woke up, he ate, he done his cardio, he walked over to the gym, we trained, we kicked each other's ass, he went back home, he fucking slept. There was nothing else to do for him. And him in Brazil now, my only fear about him being in Brazil was the distraction. I guess whatever's going on right now, whether they closed the gym and he's got this famous Brazilian trainer that's pushing him, which he didn't have before.
Who?
I'm happy.
Fernando Cerdinha? Is this him? No, it's different.
It's some guy. Again, for all the Brazilians who jumped on my comments below now, I don't know his name. Okay. I know his face, but he's pretty famous in Brazil. Who? You can mention anybody right now. Bald head. He has a beard.
I'm just trying to mess with you.
But we also mentioned Brando, and then just to finish off on Brando, I'm very excited about what he's going to bring.
But what would you tell him to bring? Okay, because we always go conditioning, right? That's normal. Yeah. It's you don't even think you're going to say that first. Yeah. But there is a difference component of conditioning, and then if you dry out and flatten out and lose this that should pop to be considered, right? So by doing this, you lose that. You have to weigh it out.
It's a happy balance.
Yeah, I said this before, probably here also. 94, Olympia was the rippest I've ever been, and I love that condition. And I went to Joe Weider later, weeks later, for photo shoot, and for me, I'm fat pig already. I was in great condition, but you know how you're thinking.
I'll find them 94 fat pig photos. I'm sure you were fucking shredded.
Yeah, I was. Joe Weider at that photo shoot goes, "Why, Milos? Why didn't you look like that at Olympia? You would be top 6." 94.
After eating
month later, I went to European Grand Prix Tour and all that stuff. So, you relax. And, I took a diuretic last night again, just, But
he tells me this on text, by the way. What time is the podcast? I'll tell you my diuretic.
Because everybody's going to say, did you take a diuretic? Yeah, I did.
He fucking did.
Little hydrochlorothiazide. Come on. But for that photo shoot, Joe Weider, father of bodybuilding, right? He's saying to me, why didn't I look like this at Olympia? I am out of shape for me, right?
Yeah.
And then I think I told you, he brought me the Polaroid and bring me to the table and show me the Olympia picture and this picture. And I see the guy on the Polaroid looks better. Conditioning was not that far off because I had a deep separation, so I create the illusion of, but this extra fullness, 20 pounds, like Jesus. So speaking of Rafael Brandao, I think he still need to bring that, fullness about him because Brandon is full, Rami, Hadi, Nick, Samson, everybody else, right? Yeah. So play your game, yes, but be wise. Choose. I think he should go for not over diet because sometimes I think that maybe he over diets.
Yeah, I spoke to him about that. He, I guess, him and Chris of Preps of old changed some things at the very last couple of weeks, and his metabolism went through the fucking roof. And then they're trying to slow it down by feeding themselves up. But I think they got a good formula together.
Chris is a master.
Yep.
If anybody can do him, he can do it. Really, it's amazing, the job. But then I'm sure they have to decide, right? Yeah. Like if you and I are now advising Rafael, he's right here, what are we going to say? Go for conditioning, go for fullness and stuff like that, right? Yeah. So it has to be debated. But I don't know how much time we have because you're looking at the time.
No, I just was, I was trying to do it fucking discreetly. Tell you we're at 1 hour right now. It's like, what are you doing?
Good.
You're looking at your clock.
Yeah, he said we have an hour and a half.
It's
like a red light going, okay.
No, Tyus should just give me the messages. He's like, tell this guy, shut up, move on. No, he didn't. I do want to mention a couple other bodybuilders and we'll kind of wrap up the Olympia because this is your top 10. Derek Lunsford.
Yeah, Derek Lunsford. Let me tell you, I just forwarded to a few people back double bicep shot and front double bicep shot. I don't think anybody's going to beat him in these two poses.
He's unrestricted now. You got to remember that. He was restricted 212 guy.
Even restricted, look at his back double biceps. You had that masterful back double biceps. You really, it's fucking crazy what you had. But you didn't have as much width as Derek has. I criticize him that from the front, he didn't have that striation and dry look and density and hardness, polishment. I apologized to him here at the grand opening of your gym when he was here. So because I mentioned baby muscle back in the day when I was making comments and I didn't know, when you're on spur of the moment, you have to say something. He's still not matured, and then I use the baby muscle, and he forgave me. I often say shit, because I don't filter anything. I just, okay, well, you don't like it, sorry, too bad. So he is. You like that?
I love it.
So
never changed. In fact, you are the PG version of your old self. I tell fucking everybody. I tell Hunter Campbell too.
I'm 58 years old.
You're a fucking PG.
I should have learned something by now, right? So Derek, structurally, he's perfect.
Incredible.
He's perfect. And so front relax, front double biceps, front leg spread, back double biceps, back leg spread. He's competitive and can possibly beat just about anyone in, under certain circumstances. They're going to look for this, they're going to look for that. If you look, aesthetics is there. If you look, V-taper, X-frame is there. Balance is there. Conditioning from the back is there. From the front,
Yeah.
So from the front, I didn't like the way he was positioning his legs. I told him it's not like rodeo and riding the horse goddamn thing on the stage.
makes his leg looks bandy in some poses when he doesn't have to do that.
I think that Hani told him to do it. It's like an inside scoop, but anyway, we all listen.
Doesn't have to do that.
Sometimes, you see, when you don't have a legs exactly, you put the leg out to create to cover more space, to create that volume, so the long sartorius is there and lateralis is popping. But he doesn't need it.
Nathan Diasha does it. He makes his little bandy like this.
Juan Diesel Moral was doing this before because he needed. Rolly Winkler was doing it.
He was?
Rolly Winkler, look at him. He put the one leg out. Yeah, but that's, if I'm a judge, I know what you're doing. Yes. You don't do it anyway. So, and it just didn't flow. I mean, really, Derek Lunsford has the best aesthetics, beautiful physique. And in that Pittsburgh guest posing, his legs look like...
Look like he had fucking 3 years off season.
Yeah, he looks like he went to, pump himself with a kryptonite or something. I mean, that's amazing. So there was a thing about you, there was a thing about him. You were 212, making the weight, and you look crazy at 225, whatever, right? And 225, Flex Lewis could be open Olympia competitor that can mess people up, but he had to be 212 because of your category restrictions. Same thing for Derek. Yeah. All these years, we see him guest post 245, looking great. I mean, okay, and then 212. So I can't wait to see what he brings. And listen, I mean, can he win the show? Hell yes. Can he win the show? You tell me why he won't. Because people don't consider that he can win the show. He can win the show if he brings this. And pose by pose. I mean, if he comes in the greatest condition of his lifetime, he can win. But he can also fight for a top 10. Because, this is Olympia, best of the best. And like I said, the perfect star alignment. But should he be in conversation? Yes. Very, very good. I mean,
in my descriptions of all athletes today, he is probably the most exciting athlete that I would like to see on that stage, because I've never seen, as the world, never seen the unrestricted Derek Lunsford. And that structure and that flow that he's had, and how that muscle sits on his frame, because he's not the biggest of guys, the tallest of guys, but he has such a wide frame, and he's been able to bring up now them body parts that he had to over diet, like the legs. You all see him at Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
As a fan of the sport, and obviously as somebody who competed against him, I want to see this guy go all the way to the top. Yes. So then I can say I beat that guy. It's good to see. It's good to see
repeatedly.
It's good to see these athletes who are now being talked about. I'm moving on. Like, the 212 has now pumped out a lot of great names.
Yeah, sure.
Sean Clarita, qualified for the open class. Derek, you're talking about William. Exactly.
Yeah.
Calderon, yes. Angel.
Tony Burton went for 212, and he just won the show. I mean, listen, so that puts in perspective how many great 212 bodybuilders out there, right? Yeah. But so for Derek, not to talk, because I know the time is clicking, so to say a couple more things. Derek, for me, like you said, very exciting, and let's see what he brings it. Andrew Jack, we saw him here, right? And that was that moment when you and I were there with Big Steve, and he walked in, and I just ran, "Ooh, come here, please." Yeah. And you've seen Steve's reaction.
Steve was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Yeah, I mean, shit. I don't know if you noticed, because I have on a videotape, he mentioned something, Mr. Olympia. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to be genius to say that Andrew Jack has Mr. Olympia potential.
Oh, no question.
There's no question about it. When, that's what we said, but he's fastly improving. I know what he did here in the gym when he did the Arnold Classic Amateur, and then by the, Jesus Christ.
I fucking seen him with my own eyes. He got the morphed in prep.
Yeah, and you trained with him a few times and all this stuff, and you probably saw him pose. I didn't see him pose I see that with you once, first time ever,
Yes.
and it was okay. But that time when he stripped off in front of Steve Weinberger, holy shit. You remember that?
Of course.
I visualize it right now.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Yeah. So he was such a standout in Texas. There was first place and everybody else. So there was, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
They would say like maybe Martin gave him run for the money. There was no competition. I mean, so he has that visual, wow effect from the front.
Yeah.
Super deep abs, wide structure, chest, huge chest, everything, right? Front double biceps, crazy. Front leg spread, crazy. And I want people to start thinking what judges are judging and what they are seeing. So first pose is front your legs, right? Okay, that's first impression, right? You go, a little bit front double biceps, lat spread. This is the first poses that you are seeing. And all three poses are killer for Andrew Jack. So he's going to gain momentum right there, right? Yeah. Now, side chest, side triceps. He has a body to look great in these poses. I think that even I maybe screwed up. I gave him some advices, and Flex Wheeler gave him advices. When he did those two poses, he didn't get the best out of it. You know what I mean? Good. So if these poses, according to the muscle that you have, if you can angle it and create that illusion, that would be crazy poses for him. His downfall was back, not back. Back is good, but hamstring glutes. That didn't come up.
From the back,
yeah. And okay, let's face it. He wasn't there at the Arnold Amateur. He wasn't there in the Texas, and he wasn't there at the Arnold Classic UK, right? So there's something that, like Flex Wheeler back in the day, he had a side of glutes once at 93 Arnold Classic and never again. Yeah. So this is something, for George Farah and Flex Wheeler. And then I heard that Flex Lewis is going to be training him when he comes. Okay. But listen, is Andrew potential?
Yeah.
Absolutely, positively. This is, if he gains few pounds, it doesn't need much. He just chisels everything and then learn how to really present it. Even his posing routine leaves that impression, okay, this guy needs to practice much more posing. And I'm going to say this officially. I ask Regan, I ask Jamie, Spartan, what is your profession, right? In sense of your profession is you're presenting your physique in posing trunks on the stage. I'm not talking about bodybuilding, training, and dieting, and this and this and this and that. That's besides the point.
Yeah.
The competition is on the stage.
Yeah. And
how you present yourself is not what you have, it's what you show and how you show it. Even if you hit 8 mandatory poses perfectly, but the sequences in between look like shit and you expose yourself, that all counts.
Yes.
So, diamond in the rough like Andrew Jack should be posing 1 hour daily. And you see, once you have the sequences of the poses and you know exactly how you're going to do from one to another, and then you do this today and tomorrow and 5 times the next day and 100 times before the Olympia, whatever you do in front of the mirror, on the tape for your coach, you're going to do this on the stage. I have so many athletes send me the videotapes and they rush it. I said, don't rush it.
Yeah.
5 seconds each pose. Transition into still the pose before the pose, right? All these things. And what you're going to do there, you're going to do on the stage, guarantee. No, don't worry, coach. When I'm on stage, you're going to do exactly what you're doing here for me right now. So.
What's the shit?
Yeah, because we are creatures of habit, right? I can get up right now and do my 20 poses in a matter of 5 seconds because my body goes that way anyway, right? Like Arnold in Pumping Iron. Yeah. I say this all the time. All the amateur pro bodybuilders, doesn't matter. You are posing on the stage so perfected, And another thing, just as I'm throwing in some advice, I did, and probably everybody, the same front of biceps I always did, same side chest I always did, because, that's how we did it. And then you just keep repeating and nobody says nothing.
Yes.
But when the Korean guy was here and you were giving him advice, how you did the side chest and little turns, that matters. Is there anything else you can do to make this pose look even better? Be open-minded. Uncomfortable at first because you're in the comfort zone doing it your way.
Exactly.
Get out of the comfort zone, turn more, twist, whatever, and then think, what do you want to see or judges want to see in each pose? From the front, you want a V-taper, right? Biceps, you want a peaking biceps, V-taper. Side, you want a thick upstairs, small downstairs. How you create that,
Yeah.
It's huge difference.
You mentioned Jose yesterday about, you mentioned Jose when you guys were doing the podcast yesterday about him beating me. That's what him and Chris would always say is Flex mastered the art of making himself look better. Because I would look in the mirror, I was like, okay, how can I improve this pose? This is not like, for example, my side tricep. I know Dorian had his style, foot forward.
Yeah.
Trailing leg back,
yeah,
and then the conventional one is kind of both feet together, leaning back. But again, I would always think about the transition. It made me look awkward in transition. So what I would do is I would reach forward, one leg, and as I'm moving my hand back and reaching back, I would put this leading leg back, and I would kind of turn it into this unique side tricep. And then I would have the guys saying, "That ain't a fucking side tricep." I was like, well, I've created one then, I guess. Nobody's flagged me. The judges mark it as a side tricep, and then guess what happened? Most of the class, Jose started posing that way and everything else. But to your point, having to pause, that mirror is not there. You can knock it out in front of your coach or whatever else, but you've got to start posing with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
And then filming it, and then opening it up and being like, okay, how can I improve this? I did see Andrew practicing the shit of the posing before, but then not that I'm building in an excuse for him, but this guy's only been bodybuilding 2 years.
I love Andrew, everything about him.
That's
right?
The scary thing.
So when we speak, also being blunt, sometimes people take it against. No. Hold on a second. He's competing against Samson. I would help Andrew to be the best he can be. And Samson could be the best, and then the best man win. That's look, if he can give advice, and Flex Wheeler was here, letting me give him my view. And listen, I would give you a view. You're gonna try it. It doesn't look good. You don't do it, right? But open the specter of perspective. Oh, face it. Your shoulders are this wide. Your biceps is peaking like crazy. I love Andrew Jack's biceps. There's unconventional, but it's like, so powerful, right?
Yeah.
But can you do 2 or 3 poses, mandatory poses? You have one punchline and a couple of more that also look like, whoa, look at that. I'm going to mention Logan Franklin, for example, because really he brings a different level. He would look how to distribute the weight on which leg, how to move, like you said, you would transition from this to that. It's always very specific. You want to least distraction. So if you change the footing and it's visible, it's not good. Yeah. But if you change it, that people didn't even realize you changed it, like, whoa.
He's incredible.
So, and no wasted moves. If I'm going into this direction, I don't want to stop and then change my mind and go in something else, right? Yeah. There's many times that people do it a couple of times, like winding and winding. Why? If this is going this direction, continue into whatever you're planning to do. But don't make a wasted move. Unfortunately, posing routines are not being judged, so nobody cares. Why would I practice? They're not going to even judge. You're presenting yourself. That's going to be forever. These videos are going to be watched 50 years from now.
Okay.
And
I don't get that.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it is.
And also leaving it to the last fucking minute, too. It's like, I'm going to practice my routine, and then they have no muscle contraction, muscle control up there because they've just been relying on their training.
Yeah.
They have no tension. They can't control the tension. Yeah. And in fact, in some cases, they're struggling too much. They're trying to peak. I've seen guys trying to really maximize their fucking bicep peak, struggling. It's like, just hit the arm. It's not that little 2 millimeters that you gained for the sake of shaking the shit out of your
and
arms.
And not just that, but you're going to lose abs or something else because you think of that.
Everything.
Yeah.
But Andrew just texted me, funny enough, earlier on. He is in town.
Stop talking about me.
And he was like, please, you're talking about me inside there. Please keep on talking about me. No, he texted me earlier.
He says, where we're training, right?
For a couple of days.
Because he's supposed to be training with you. I'm telling you.
He didn't say that.
You don't even know this news. I read it.
So who have we missed out from your top 10? There's two guys that I know that I'm going to mention if you don't mention them. And then we'll wrap up.
So hold on a second. These are the guys that I believe honestly can win. Okay, I'm going to try to say the name correctly. Ian. Ian?
Yeah, Ian.
Ian. Okay, I still didn't do it. I call him Ian. Ian Valier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
A lot of improvements.
A lot of muscle. I said this always. For me, typically, every bodybuilder is bodybuilder. Hardcore, thick, muscular, everything is there, right? And quite good proportions, symmetry, everything, right? If he gets hard, and I think he's now being coached by Hani Ramba, right?
Is he really?
I think so.
I thought he was Patrick.
He was. You know what?
Oh.
You know, I'm going to tell you the truth. I see the thumbnails, and I don't really watch the that's how I saw that you're training.
Fucking sending out false narrative. So Ian is now with Hani Rambod.
That's what I
Milos.
thought. That's what I thought.
Okay.
I mean, okay, maybe
Let's just presume then. Let's presume.
If I'm wrong, sorry. But anyway, he is definitely a guy. You know that he can bring it.
Chris is training with Hani, not Ian.
Chris
Bumstead, as well as
Ian. So I heard it basically both.
Oh, okay.
Two for the price of one. I don't know.
But Hani won't have no fucking two for
I
price
don't know.
of one.
I don't know. Okay. So who am I missing? Let's see the list. Yeah, you send me the list.
Talking about Ian, whilst you're looking for the list,
okay.
He has got that dense muscle tissue, and I seen some update photos which I messaged him on. I said, bro, this is the best version I've ever seen, because he had them, you know, the deep separation in the upper quad, that little, you know.
So for Ian,
this
is what I mean. I don't know if you know the whole narrative about this thing. He's competing against Max Charles, and I'm coaching Max.
Right.
But I've seen, Ian is losing his legs and frontal biceps, frontal spread, frontal legs, right? If you don't squeeze your legs, if I'm a judge, I can easily go to somebody else, right? Because
seen it so many times.
And
so many times.
It would not work good. That's why Max was offended that I said, like, okay, I help him win.
Yeah.
No. I would always tell the truth to everybody, my athlete, not athlete. I came to Ian and said, like, listen, you're forgetting to squeeze your quads.
Yeah.
And that when, on Instagram, on YouTube, and, people say, like, I'm criticizing. No.
Yeah.
I'm giving him advice and now I think, as this was mentioned a few times, he's paying attention. Have you seen his quads? And he actually tagged me on that one with the crazy separation.
That's probably the one I seen. I messaged him on.
Yeah. So
from the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, if you have this in this one moment for a picture, you can have it for 2 minutes. On stage.
Yeah.
So that's all you need. Because think about it. How many frontal poses are? You need to keep this until you turn to the side and then turn to the back. You don't have to think about it. But when you're to the front, you better have it. I see, you're probably thinking of Akeem Williams.
Well, also, a guy from the guy that we all had a little powwow sit down here in my office with.
Oh, Michael Krizo. Yeah. So Akeem Williams, being a top 6 that 1 year when he brought the condition. If he brings the all-time condition, it would be. Don't give us signs here,
He's on you.
I'm watching you. So Akeem can bring it too, but Michael Krizo. Okay, you saw him right here. Where I'm sitting right now, that's where he was.
He was.
And there was cartoon character when he lifted his. He blocked all your trophies. There was, you won 0 trophies, because it was like in front of you, covering everything. The biggest arms I've ever seen in my life.
Incredible.
In the front double bicep pose, right? Yeah. Okay. Did he deliver on the stage? He won hands down. There was not a competition, right? But that was not Olympia lineup. So if he goes to Olympia lineup, my advice to Michael, right? he improved the back. Back was quite more detailed than before, I see it. But conditioning was not superb.
Yeah, he needs to get that down.
Presentation. I heard that he was huffing and puffing. He was losing the stomach. He was in trouble. That as Steve Weinberger was comparing him second, third time, he was like, "Oh shit, I've never been there." Okay, so this is kind of thing. Can he, be their top 10 contender and then move? For sure. I mean, muscle by muscle, crazy arms, crazy shoulders, crazy legs, separation. Yeah. Sided glutes, yeah. I mean, he has it all. He, for me, needed more width to create the V-taper, and he needed much better control of the midsection because, kind of it was shallow and lower abs were not exactly there. So, as I'm telling everybody, I'm sure I told you, glue your stomach to the spine all day long. Breathe from the back. Don't breathe from the stomach. Yeah. Keep this tight all the time. And or do the ab shot, blow out completely. And if your abs are deep in this pose, like I said, right there, in this pose, it can be in every pose. So you just translate this to every pose.
You said that to him when he was in the office. You said you need to work your abs.
I told him? Yeah.
You told him?
Of course I told him.
I know you did. And you also told him.
I told him.
You also told him that I watched you training back and you're doing way too many machines.
Yeah, he didn't. I mean, okay, he's traveling and all that stuff, but you were the winner, and I always mention him, 71-time loser, right? But I train every time, just like you did. Every workout is opportunity to move forward, to improve, to be better. So I really check mark. Good day, good workout, good. And I would have maybe a couple of days, bad days in sense of I didn't eat perfectly or I didn't train perfectly. So to the best of my abilities, what you do at home, you do at home. Once you step your foot in the gym, right, you cross that line, it's a coliseum, right? You're a warrior and you're fighting for your life. That's how it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, and we started with this, maybe we'll finish with this, I was talking about MMA fighters. MMA fighters, when they train, oh my God, did you see that? Submission, striking, strength and conditioning, lifting. Jesus Christ. And sometimes 3 workouts a day, maybe sometimes 4, I don't know. In bodybuilding nowadays is, we're training. Oh my God. Every day? What do you mean every day? Every day, twice a day. Of course, 6 days a week. That's how I was, right? But no, less is more.
I know, and the new fit shit. These fucking guys are doing all over the place. Yeah, I mean, I see the practicality of using it therapy-wise. But not every session.
What do you mean therapy? You're not on a therapy. You're in the Mr. Olympia, competition.
I'm saying it, yeah. But using it for therapy, not during training.
Oh, what? The machines?
Yeah.
I was even talking about that one.
I know you fucking love that machine as much as me.
Yeah.
But I've tried it. I've tried it a couple of times here at the gym, and I was doing less weight.
It's counterproductive. I'm going to say this. Listen, and they're going to hate me for it. Okay, logically. You want something to fire up the nervous system, right? And, high threshold motor unit for you. No, let me do it myself. If I want chest to fire or this, let me fire myself, not something else fire for me. Okay? And then that negative feedback, more you use from the outside, less you use inside. So use your own. I don't need to. Therapy, whatever. Rehab.
I think it's a massive.
Or listen, this is what I would do. That's what I said many times. When I'm not training at home and I can hook myself up to the IV amino acids, glucose, goddamn whatever else I want to put it in, and have this fire. Okay, that's something I would like to experiment and do the double-blind study. I would volunteer for that, right? No, I'm now lazy like everybody else. You want most results with the least work. So I kid you not, I had some Jewish lady, my client. She bought recumbent stationary bike for home with a motor on.
A motor?
Motor. So it's like pedaling for her. And she just needs to put the legs in and it's doing it for her.
I have never heard of that.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Where do you live, man? Come on. That's all advanced. So everybody wants more for less. And that brings me to the podcast when Dorian Yates brought that one minute workout, right? Book that I didn't read at that time. I read it on the way to the Dubai and back, so I can talk about it. 1 minute workout. Okay? What can you possibly do for 1 minute?
What do you mean? I never heard this book.
Yeah, I have it. I'll bring it to you because I read it. I highlighted. I'm so fucking pissed off. I was like elated to read it. I mean, it's painful to read, right? But anyway, like in 1 minute, you can do the cardiovascular same benefits that you're going to do from repeated hours upon hours, right? Because the parameters they're looking at, it's like the same. But you're going to do like in 1 minute all out. You do like this interval type of training. Yeah. It's painful to read it, and I can lend you the book about it. In sense, what I'm saying is everybody wants most for the least effort. Yeah. When we were training, right? You don't go into the gym to save yourself. You go there to punish yourself, to challenge yourself, right?
I would get fucking nervous.
Yeah.
Excitedly nervous.
Yeah. That's how it's supposed to be,
I
right?
knew I was walking into a fucking punishment.
Yeah. So I had constantly this feedback of, hey, it's not necessary and this and this and that. Like, what do you mean? I mean, so I'm comparing bodybuilders to these MMA fighters. Yeah. MMA fighters are doing 10 times the work. I mean, seriously.
And in some cases, getting paid 10 times less than some of these athletes.
You always think business dollars and cents. I don't care for money.
But if it is a transitional thing, right, that's one point. Because a lot of bodybuilders are stimulated by paychecks, right? So they go into the gym because they want to be better, they want to get paid better contracts. But yeah, when you put in things into perspective and you look at an amateur fighter in UFC, that's trying to get into the UFC, every training session, he's physically getting the shit kicked out of him, punched in the face, choked. Most of the athletes here can't even put a fucking good training session together. I see them in here, they're more concerned about the fucking tripod. Or where the pads are going from the new fit.
It has to be from this angle.
Yeah. but the bigger point is like you take the guys from the 90s who are, arguably the best physiques that ever came out, yourself included. Yeah. There was none of this nonsense going on back then. Yeah.
But okay, on that note, I have to say this also. One of my idols back in the day was John Brown. I don't know if you've seen him in my gym.
Incredible poser.
And not just incredible poser, but if you train with him, you would see that my training is like a picnic next to, Jesus Christ, a lunatic. Really, he would, as long as you can hold the bar, do something with it, as long as you hold it. You can't do the curls anymore, and you're supposed to be doing curls, but hold it as long as you can hold it. I tell you, we did the first workout with him in Florida. I said, okay, I'll follow your workout. He does side laterals with 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds, right? Ascending, not descending, right? And then, of course, the second was when you go ascending, right? Then you go right back to the first one and keep doing it. Yeah. 2 rotations. You can't literally move anything. But this is that kind of guy. So he's talking to Sean Ray in an interview, and he mentioned this. It was so funny. Nowadays, like you said, everybody is YouTubing or taping, and then they have that whistleblower face. Not lifting, not fighting with the weight, not doing nothing. Yeah. On that note, how many things you see on that Instagram, right? And I made a comment about this. Spinal flexion and extension and the scapular retraction and protraction and this and this and this and that. And then, then you do this. You don't lift weights. You're like a fucking robot there, doing something. You're not challenging the muscle. No. Jake Cutler made this post like a few days ago. So what if he's moving? It's not, stabilized completely, and he looks like a little cheating and has a little bit momentum and all that stuff. So if you use the momentum, you just didn't initiate from your primary mover, but you can lift double the weight. At the weight that is primary mover is picking up, even though it was momentum initially, you're doing double the work.
Yeah.
Okay? So how is this wrong? And very early in San Diego when I went, I've seen the guy that everything he did was wrong. It's like, and I wanted to go tell him he looks better than me. He looked like a goddamn Surgeon Bray. It's like everything he did was wrong. Okay, I guess you don't go to Ronnie Coleman and tell him you don't know how to deadlift and bend over row, right?
People do it, though. It's like Jay had to make that point because he said, I've seen people that are saying that I'm cheating in this movement. The fact that he has to say that 4-time Mr. Olympia.
Yeah. With the biceps like that, like he would be like swinging all this shit. I said, hey, I understand you want to sell your program and you want to sound scientific and use the terminology of this. Once I said this, you don't even know what I said. This is challenging the muscle. Feel the muscle, okay, but not to the sense of you are in a glass store and you're an elephant, you can't even move, you're going to break everything. Lift the goddamn weight, right? Don't worry.
Goddamn weight.
Yeah.
Is there anything that's going on right now you want to tell the fans, Milos? This is part 2 here on the podcast, and obviously I love to have you on.
This is part 2?
This is
part 2 out of 10.
You are a welcome guest here at any point in time.
I insist.
Is there anything going on that you want to fill in the fans on? You're going to be at the Olympia.
New girlfriend or something? No.
No. Betty would kill me. Kill me.
Yes. No, I just live day by day. Now we are 6 weeks out. I have 12 guys competing on this weekend.
I have nothing to say, but I have 12 guys competing this weekend.
That's why, it's going off back and forth.
Yeah.
Because, so I have 4 in Romania, 4 in Japan, and I have UK, and I have a US. Like, oh my God.
Fucking timelines,
It's pressure, because you know how it is in the last moment, you have to adjust, and then UK is 8 hours ahead, Romania 9, Japan, I don't know, 15, 16.
Yeah.
It's like pressure. But anyway, so
how many Olympia? How many for the Olympia?
I just have a Samson and Logan.
Not Samson Logan.
2 guys that can potentially win.
Yeah. Both. I've said the word incredible so many fucking times today.
Yeah.
Both great physiques.
Yeah, listen,
amazing physiques.
I can't wait for the Olympia. And by the way, you have tickets for it?
I don't know. Do you?
No, not yet.
I was going to ask you if you gave me a discount.
Yeah.
No, I think there's conversation about me potentially doing something. I just need to work out what that is. But again, I don't want to kind of put myself or shoot myself in the foot by saying what they've been asked of me. But there's nothing confirmed, but I might have some part of it at the Olympia.
Okay. So anyway, because you're officially retired now, because up until a few months ago, you were still considering
6 months.
Maybe yes, maybe no, huh? Yeah. Maybe raining, maybe snow.
Yeah. It's tough. It's been a tough. It's been a lot easier than I thought, but still mentally tough to have that transition. I know you probably went through the same yourself, but
Yeah, people ask me, do I miss it? 0, because you know that more than me. Mindset of the winner. I had a mindset of the warrior. I'm going to do my work, but I never really won. And when you win, and you win at the highest level, and you have to repeat and repeat and go for 7 in a row, it's all on a different level, I'm sure. So when you have to honestly answer, am I ready for that? No, you have 2 beautiful kids and a beautiful wife. It's not here, Ali, where are you? I was hoping that I'm going to have your eyes wondering what I had said, and just I understand.
You can't get out of that shit. She looks at me all day long with my accent.
Yeah, she has a refined.
Yeah. She's good. She's got that fucking accent down. But Milos, always a pleasure, my friend. Always love having you here. I know we can talk about many different things. I feel every time that you and I get on the phone, it's a fucking podcast.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that we can't talk about.
Unfortunately, I didn't let you speak much. I got the microphone.
That's a great podcast. That's a great podcast, man. When somebody wants to talk, I go, Go ahead. I'll just fucking put my feet up.
Yeah. Did I tell you this? I was training with Dorian and Leroy at 95 at his training partner.
Yeah.
You know him probably better than me. I didn't know. I just met the guy. And during a training, you know, we did legs at the Gold Venice. He was like, oh, come on, Yates and Dawes or whatever, right? But then we went for a lunch at the Firehouse. Yeah, Firehouse, yeah. And we were there like more than an hour. And I was just blabbing. And Leroy didn't say a word. And I just turned to him and Leroy, shut the fuck up, man. He didn't say a word. And he didn't understand the joke. Yeah. So I was kind of going to do that. But yeah.
Well,
you squeezed in a few words in.
I done my part. That's all I got to do is interview you. That's my job. If the interviewee loves to talk, then this is the podcast.
Yeah, that's what in the reviews, Milos, take a microphone away from him. Like, he talks so much. Why am I on the podcast for? To talk or to look pretty?
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell?
And you can't do both.
Yeah, I can do both. That's for sure.
Yeah, good. They're both.
I got the haircut last night for this.
I told him.
And so could diuretic.
You still remember? He's like 3 weeks in a row. I've had a fucking kiss on this guy. By the way.
You know what? I don't know if my stomach is out, but in this, because all my guys, I tell them, don't let the camera catch you with your stomach out, ever, right? So I'm watching this Killer Sally in Netflix. And here I am with my stomach out, like, you know, I'm in.
You're on it?
Yeah, like in a few instances, but there was that one instance. Actually, Samson sent me the picture. It's like, oh
no, I have got to see this.
Oh my God,
that is
what the hell was I thinking? Slipped.
That's not you.
Yeah. But you know what? I have to tell you this truth. Like after '93, when I got some videos and then I review it, it's like, what the hell am I doing? Oh my God, mistake here, mistake here, mistake here. You know, when you're doing it back in the day and you don't really pay attention to all these things, I had a great abs. So why would I think of the abs? They're great abs. It's right there. Well, they're not so great if they're fully blown.
Yeah.
You know, so that's how it works. Okay, we'll cut it out because maybe he has a lunch menu.
No, we're good.
All right?
Milos, always a pleasure. Milos. What is it? Milos? Whatever. Is there another one? I fucking Canadian.
Okay. I'll give you $100. Hold on a second. I'll give you right now $100.
Okay.
If you can say my last name perfectly, not close.
Milos Sarcev.
Holy shit! Oh my God! Oh my God!
Did I get it?
Yeah. Say it again.
Milos Sarcev. Did I get $100?
The deal is a deal.
Did I get it? Fucking give me
name, man.
Let's go.
Proof is the proof.
Look at this. I'm gonna fucking wrap up with this $100.
Now you can offer me 200 to say your name.
This is. Look at this. Not only do I invite him on my podcast for free, but he pays me.
Is it the one with what do you call it? My signature on it?
Yeah, look at this.
Okay, listen.
It's gone up in value.
Yeah, I went to, and I'll tell you very quickly, I went to these shows and the mentalist things. I highly recommend it. This Federico da Silva, you would be blown away. It's a mentalist. It's what is his show called?
You know, Tyus is a magician.
Are you? Paranormal.
He blow your mind.
Okay, so just to tell you, among other things, everything that he predicted perfectly, like goddamn. So he, I volunteer for something that you sit down.
You're a skeptic too, aren't you?
I'm skeptic to everything, right? Even though I'm naive as shit. But I'm sitting there, right? And, so he touched me with the feather. I say, you feel it? Okay, now you close your eyes. Okay. So now, every time I touch you, raise your hand and then show where I touched you, right? And there's this lady right there, okay, and Betty's watching, so he can't just tell me that he did if he didn't. And he touches her forehead, and I feel a goddamn forehead. So I go like this here, okay, and then touch my chin, okay, it's here. And then, and how many times I touch you? Like 3 times and all this stuff. He never fucking touched me.
Wow.
Okay?
You're blown away because you messaged me straight away.
And a million other things. So if he's a magician, maybe he knows.
He knows.
It's called Paranormal, yeah. That's his show at Bali's. Please go see it.
Oh, that's a fucking...
I'm telling you.
You're the first. So if you guys are coming to
I am
Vegas for
telling
Olympia... Milos, what's the guy's name? The magician?
Federic de Silva.
Frederick de Silva.
Federic de Silva.
You got the official
I think so.
approval from
I hope I
Milos?
didn't screw up his name.
You're fine.
Yeah.
I think...
Okay, that's it.
wait.
You're closing this show for like 15 minutes.
I've tried. But we've got a lot of good, valuable information.
You
I also
get the $100, man.
fucking $100. So me wrapping it up, I fucking won.
There you
It's
go.
straight out the Lair with the man himself, the legend, Milos Sarcev.
There you go.
We're coming back in a future episode to do part 3.
Part 3 out of 10.
Straight out Lair. Out.